safely, yes. Right, yeah. That's my final answer. Cooking safely. I'm terrible.
I am a straight donation station in Jupiter.
If you're low on cash, call Sawhead.
Give us a moment, FP. Give us a moment. Right in the middle.
Go, squeeze.
Can we just please stop saying this a moment ago?
Subtle signs that you're playing with a stick.
A bag? You want me to be intimidated by a fucking bag? What is up, dogs? What is up, golf sickos? You know, I haven't decided. We did the first 35 episodes, and I said, "What's up, golf sickos?" And then I started saying, "What's up, dogs?"
There's a little bit of everything out there.
You don't think I need to stick with one?
No, diversify.
Diversify?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We're going to diversify. It's Genesis Invitational Week. It's the greatest week of the year. Better than the Masters. Joking, obviously. Well, for me, it is because I get to sleep in my own bed. And
it's not far off.
It's like a 5-minute drive. We've been out at Riviera the first couple days. We got a big show for you guys. We're gonna break down Tiger's press conference. There was a lot in there. He talked about the Masters. He talked about the Ryder Cup potential captaincy. He talked about Anthony Kim, his old pal. We got Paige Spiranac on the show talking about our new joint venture. She's joining the Pro Shop family. We've got an epic interview with Dan Brown, who I'm calling the new John Daly. I think it will be pretty obvious why. Before we get into all of that, I wanted to draw a little bit of attention to our ongoing fundraiser, the t-shirts that we have made in benefit of Steadfast LA, which is working to rebuild the LA communities, which are still reeling after the fires. Riviera is absolutely perfect right now. If you drive about a mile away, you'll see devastation. And it's not just the Palisades, it's the Altadena community over there, the Eaton fires. Yeah, you could see that was Zane took this footage 5 days ago.
Yeah.
That's still what it looks like. And these were just bustling neighborhoods before. So buy a shirt, support a great cause. Again, we're not making $1 off of this. You go to shop.scratch.golf. Every dollar that we make after our look at that footage. It's insane.
It's vast.
Every dollar that we make past our costs will be donated to Steadfast LA to help rebuild our communities. And Chad Mum, our CEO, president of Pro Shop, has generously agreed to match whatever donation we raise, which will come from Pro Shop. So buy a shirt; they're really cool. Where I think we're already sold out of the small and the mediums. So, hopefully if you're listening, you're not a small or a medium. But if you're not, get it to sleep in, get it to, I don't know, you could use it as a towel for your clubs for all I care.
It look nice in a frame.
Yeah, it's more about the cause than it is anything else. So, yeah, we've been out at Riviera the last couple of days. We shot some stuff yesterday. Out on Tuesday, we shot a one hole with Ryo Hisatsune, who is awesome. He's just a bundle of energy. We did what I thought was a really good range report. And there was a lot of AK talk on the range yesterday. It was definitely the biggest story of the weekend.
Yeah.
We saw guys practicing in some pretty poopy weather. Monday was pretty much a total washout. Yesterday rained in the morning, kind of got nicer in the afternoon, poured again last night. Today was actually mostly sunny. Awesome. We were not out there because we played golf with some of our friends and sponsors and business partners. I think I restored a little bit of order in the question as to who's the best player.
My man rolled his rock today.
At Pro Shop. It was a good round for me out there today. I didn't collapse the way I did at Riviera last week. I told all you guys I played 15 of the best holes I've ever played Riv in tournament conditions from as far back as I possibly could, was 2 under through 15, and immediately had a thought go through my head of, what do I shoot if I go double, double, double? Which is not the kind of thought that you want. And then today I was also 2 under through 15, and I had in my head Dr. Izzy Justice telling me, you've rehearsed this before. This is not new, and I finished with 3 solid pars. So it was a good round for me out there today. Riviera, I think, is taking the water pretty well. So it's Kikuya, and Kikuya is if you've walked on it before, it's basically a sponge. I mean, when you walk on it, it's really supportive under your foot. It's like
when it's dry, it almost springs you upward. Yeah, it's a spring in your step.
This is Ben Boscovich, by the way.
Hey,
my co-host. Didn't bring you in today. It's the Wednesday show, guys. We said, the Monday show we're buttoned up, we're all caffeinated. The Wednesday show we're chilling.
Coming off the golf course.
We're coming off the golf course. We're chilling with the boys. So yeah, I think Riv looks fantastic, and there are 2 new tweaks to the golf course. So the first one, 2 significant ones, I should say. The 18th hole, there's a new tee on the 18th hole. I think this is in preparation of the 2031 U.S. Open. So 18 forever played about 470 yards. It's uphill. Remember, the first hole is downhill. The rest is pretty much flat. The 18th hole is way uphill. They added a new tee box. It's about 20 yards back. So I think it's 498 now. And if there's any sort of wind into it, becomes a beast of a hole. And then the one that's generating a little bit more talk or controversy is the new tee on 4. So 4 was already one of the hardest par 3s on the PGA Tour. I think there was a couple years where it was like 20% of the field hit that green in regulation, which was the lowest, at least for 1 or maybe 2 years, lowest green in regulation percentage on the entire PGA Tour. And they've revamped that hole. So they built a new tee box that's about 20 yards further back. It's also further right, and it's more elevated. So on a clear day, you can see the ocean, and but it's planned now about 275 yards. And they asked Rory McIlroy about his thoughts on it, and he's not a huge fan.
I don't think 4 plays any differently. You're just hitting a slightly longer club. I actually think it's a horrible change. 15% of the field hit the green last time when it was played at its original yardage at 230, and like if you want it to be a 275 yard par 3, you have to change the apron leading up onto the green. It can't be Kikuyu. It has to be another type of grass that can help you run it onto the green, because again, in the right conditions, you try to fly that ball on the green, it's landing, with a 3-iron, it's going to finish up on the 5th tee box. So that's sort of what I mean of why it's not a great change.
I completely disagree because what he's saying is if it's firm and you land it on the green, it's going to go over the green. If it's firm, it will run off from the right side. They did make that right side a little bit steeper. And we were walking with Ryo Hisatsune yesterday, and he was playing in a practice round with Matt Fitzpatrick. And I was talking to Matt about the new tee box and about where you need to land it. And he hit one that he thought was too far right. And I said, no, that's going to be absolutely perfect. And then he turned to me and he said, well, now that you said it, it better be perfect. And it was this far from the hole. So what he's saying is like, okay, if it's firm, you can't land it on the green, but if it's firm, then it will run on the right side. The way the conditions are right now, it's soaking wet. They've taken all this rain. If you land it short right, it's not going to kick on the green, but if you land it on the green right now, it will stay on the green.
There's really one specific way to hold that green, and they kept it that way. It's just...
Well, I think if it's firm now, you will be able to run it up the right side. It is a little steeper on the right side, and you're coming from a higher point, so it's going there's more of a right to left. So I just disagree with Rory, but that's fine.
I actually have a question for you about that. How far over did they move it? Do you almost have, if you want to play the Redan of it all, do you have to kind of hit a cut, or can you play a draw into it?
You could play a draw into it, and a draw would make it kick even more. Harder, so there's ways. I mean, I saw Matt Fitzpatrick hit it this far and it landed short of the green yesterday.
And he just pushed it out right and let it hit.
He hit a perfect. Alex was there. He hit a perfect 3-wood just right of the green. It landed short, kicked on the green, went to this far. So
just do that, Rory.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I like that he has opinions on the golf course. We just don't always have to agree with them. So we're gonna dive into the Tiger Woods press conference because it was a meaty one. You said you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was like the most clear and like self-aware that he's sounded in a really long time. Like it seemed like I think he's energized about the gig that he has with the tour. You can tell he like really likes it, and he likes talking about like he revealed a bunch of like little nuggets yesterday. He did. He likes being that guy.
He did. He talked about how the new schedule, they want to roll it out for 27, but it might not be for 27. I got to be honest here. There are a few things that interest me less than talk about a future schedule.
Really?
It's like also, they'll announce a schedule and then we'll know what the schedule is.
Well, it's kind of your schedule too, so I guess like there's a little.
But you can't worry about things you can't control. I have absolutely no control over it, and also I feel like we've heard all this talk. Some people saying, oh, it's a done deal that Riviera and Pebble Beach are going to be played in August. That is just not true. I was at Riviera asking people last week, and they were like, we don't want to have a tournament in August. It's like we don't feel like our golf course is the way that we want it, and it's not the time of year that we like. So there's definitely still a lot of negotiations going on. It's just one of those things where it's like people talk over and over about what's the new schedule going to be, and then it's like the new schedule will come out, and then it's either
and we'll deal with it,
right? And then it's like when you worry about something that you have no control over. It happens, and then you deal with it, and then you realize that all the time that you spent worrying was completely wasted time.
Yeah.
So I don't really, he did get into that, but I don't find that stuff to be that interesting. But there was a lot of interesting stuff. We'll start actually with the Junior Woods. So Charlie Woods, he actually created an Instagram, I think, to make that announcement that he's going to Florida State. As fans of this channel will know, we went to Florida State very recently to shoot with the golf team there, and they were very excited about their chances. He's also signed with an agency. So Josh Carpenter, who is the GOAT, he is the GOAT reporter, sports business golf reporter. He reports that it's players group management as Charlie takes a different path from his father, who has long been repped by Excel Sports Management. Saad Theegala and Will Zalatoris, or Willie Z as Tiger calls him, among the notable clients.
And Miles Russell too, right?
He's going to FSU. I don't know if he's in that management
I think he is
group.
the same agent.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so him and Miles are kind of like they're the new Tiger Noda.
Yeah.
And me saying that is also just like not what they're after. So that was my point. That was my point though, was like I think Charlie going to Florida State would have been very easy for him to follow in his dad's footsteps and go to Stanford.
Yeah.
Would have been very easy for Charlie, who is hugely marketable, to sign with Excel. I think the fact that he didn't go to Stanford and went to Florida State, the fact that he didn't sign with Excel and went with players management, shows that he's trying to carve out his own path, which I think is the right move. I was surprised that no one asked him about Charlie yesterday. I used my question on the Anthony Kim stuff, which we're going to get into a little bit later in the show. But I didn't want to ask 2 questions because there was like 100-something people in there. I thought there was going to be a Charlie question.
I imagine Charlie's probably a little bit more involved in the decision making on his own behalf in this setup than he would be like if you went to the height of heights, like to the blue chip wherever you're supposed to go.
Yeah, so nice to see that Charlie is carving out his own path. Okay, now let's dive into the meteor stuff. So Tiger, there's long been this rumor about Tiger having almost a handshake agreement with J.P. McManus, who is the Irish billionaire who owns Adair Manor, that he would be the captain for the 2027 Ryder Cup at Adair. I will say, Tiger can be a Ryder Cup captain whenever the hell he pleases, right? They don't always go the Keegan Bradley route where they want someone who's like close. Tiger's going to do it when he wants to do it. I wouldn't want to do it right now. You're off 2 losses. It sounds like, we've had a lot of European Ryder Cup players on the show recently. We had Matt Fitzpatrick on. We had Justin Rose on. It seems to me like Luke Donald's going to do it again. I don't want to go against that group.
No.
On the road.
If you believe what we say on this show, which is captains don't win or lose the Ryder Cup, then he's not going to make that big of a difference. He might as well wait it out.
I completely agree. Do it at home. And like you said, there's a lot going on. So let's hear what Tiger had to say about the Ryder Cup captaincy.
Yeah, they have asked me for my input on it, and I haven't made my decision yet. I'm trying to figure out what we're trying to do with our tour. That's been driving me hours upon hours every day, and trying to figure out if I can actually do our team USA, and our players and everyone that's going to be involved in the Ryder Cup, if I can do it justice with my time. I'm serving on 2 boards, and what I'm doing for the PGA Tour. I'm trying to figure out if I can actually do this and serve the people that are involved and serve them at an honorable level.
It's not just showing up the week of. It's all the media stuff before, and Tiger has a lot on his plate. It's not just, what he's doing with the PGA Tour. He's building, like Sunday Red is in its infancy stages, and they're building up, and it just doesn't seem like the right time for him. Like, especially if the tour, I said I didn't care about the schedule. If the tour does get this new schedule in 2027 or 2028, like, get that in place. Get Sunday Red in a good spot. See Charlie off to college, right? Charlie's like in his last year at home. It just doesn't seem like the right time for Tiger.
Start playing some Champions Tour events.
Like, it just doesn't seem like the right time for Tiger to take the Ryder Cup captaincy. And so he might do it, but I don't. It doesn't feel like he's going to do it. I might be wrong. I would be happy to be wrong. It would certainly make our job better. It'll add a lot of juice to that Ryder Cup. But when you combine going against Luke Donald and that team going for a three-peat on the road, everything that you're doing with the PGA Tour, Charlie's last year at home, Sunday Red you're building, you're trying to make this new PGA Tour schedule. Sometimes you just have to, saying no to things, and Tiger Woods has said no to plenty of things before. Saying no to things, I think, is a very important part of life.
Yeah.
In his shoes.
Him skipping would be the last great opportunity for them to like fix it and try something crazy before they have to use him next time.
He's like the last bullet. He's like, yeah. And he's probably only going to want to do it once, and so just do it.
See what Stu Sink can do up there, and watch him. And then
give Stuart Sink like a chance. Who's he was crushed when he didn't get the captaincy last time. And again, I've said before, I don't think captains win or lose Ryder Cups. I think let Stuart Sink do it, and then 2029 at home when Charlie's off to college, when the new schedule that I don't care about, but I also do really care about, is finally established. I think that is the better move for Tiger. He was also asked, given the state of his body, we haven't seen Tiger play a tournament in a really long time. We haven't even seen him play TGL. If the Masters was off the table, this was very telling. Let's roll this.
You, in regards to your recovery, is the Masters off the table for you?
No.
He's playing.
He's playing.
It's like
what we didn't show there was this big smile he cracked at the very end of that.
It's like reminds me of, I've been doing a lot of movie references on this show. It reminds me of Anchorman when she says, "Take me to Pleasure Town." He says, "Oh, we're going."
Oh, we're going.
He's playing.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And then this last bit, I thought phenomenal manners from Tiger, and I think phenomenal manners really from the entire golf world with this Anthony Kim story. I feel like this story has healed us a little bit. There's been a ton of division between the PGA Tour and Live Golf, and I think that was heightened by Brooks coming back and Patrick Reed coming back, and maybe we've added to it a little bit on this show with some of our back and forth with Live. But I think this story broke through because it was a Live story, but it wasn't a Live story; it was a human story. And when someone wins on the PGA Tour, it's not a PGA Tour story; it's a human story. And this was their first. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the battle of the tours. It was about a golf story that we can all get behind, and a lost hero who has returned, and that is so unique in our sport. So let's roll this clip of Tiger on Anthony Kim.
Knowing you had a bit of a relationship with Anthony Kim back in the day, what did you make of his comeback, and can you speak to the level of natural ability that he has?
Yeah, Dan, I mean, this kid hit it so good. He was on an unbelievable run when he won at Charlotte, and we played against each other at the Congressional. He played unbelievable at the 2008 Ryder Cup. He had so much natural talent. He could hit any shot he wanted. And then to see him, struggle in life and didn't really want to play golf, didn't want to be part of golf, and then for him to come all the way back, and for him to win and to be as devoted as he is to his family, it's a story in which you just have to wrap your heart around it because of the struggles. I mean, we all can relate to struggles. We all struggle in life, and the longer it goes, the more times you've had tough times. But for him to fight through it, and for Anthony to get to where he's gotten to from the low that he was in, is something that, as I said, you have to just wrap your heart around it.
Great line. Wrap your heart around it.
Oh my God, yeah, you teed him up nice for that. I mean, I thought you phrased that question really well, right? You teed it up for him so that he could talk about the moment, but then you asked him a golf question too, and that's what we're hearing. The stories afterward about Anthony Kim is that he can hit it anywhere he wants. Like Chad told a story the other day about him hitting a bunch of shots into a blanket.
With a women's club and a graphite shaft, and he hadn't been playing. I saw something, Chris Gotterup was on Subpar saying, he'd come by to Oklahoma and they'd be sad because he was still so damn good and no one could see it.
This lore is important for us to remember.
I just thought that, when Tiger talks, it matters. And I thought he struck the perfect tone with Anthony Kim. And like I said, surely we're not so divided as a society. And as a golf society, this is golf. And I've thrown jabs at Liv and they've thrown jabs back. But, I felt like this was a moment that all of golf could get behind. And, it was just terrific manners. Speaking of manners, we have a promo code for you guys. This is from the new collection. The Manor stuff is unbelievable. I'm super stoked to be wearing it, to be partnered with them. We have a promo code for you. So if you go to Manors and you use the promo code DOG15, you get 15% off of a Manors order.
Healthy.
So, yeah, that's a healthy discount. So great stuff. And there was also Anthony Kim. I thought he had great manners too, where he's been getting a lot of praise, but here's what he had to say about the moment. While I've been getting a lot of credit and attention, none of this would be possible without these two. The motivation I get from these two faces, which is his wife and his daughter, every day is a superpower. While people saw me finally make a few putts on Sunday in Adelaide Live Golf League and pick up a W, this was a Kim family win. With that being said, being alive and able to experience life with Emily and Bella is the real win. I have learned through my lows that everything, including wins and losses, are temporary, but the real win in life is memories and experiences with your loved ones. And through God's blessing and second chance, I won before last Sunday. Emily has stood by my side through it all. Besides being a great mom, she has been the rock of our family. I am so blessed to have a strong, beautiful, capable woman as my wife that doesn't need validation from strangers like so many these days. And I hope Bella can learn from her. She is a beautiful soul and my best friend. I encourage everyone that is reading this not to compare or judge yourself in the fake world we live in on social media, because we all as human beings are going through challenges. Love on the ones you care about and let them feel it, because I do think it will make you feel happier, and you never know how you can affect their day and life. Through the higher power and effort, there is no ceiling. 1% better. I think this 1% better thing that he's going with.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see what he can do now, because, he was a shell of himself when he first came back on Live. And, you always hear that, it's going to take time, but you don't necessarily believe it, because it's like, well, what is it going to take time? He's practicing. It takes time to get that belief back. And I've said it before, I would love to see him at the Masters. They have the special invitation for extraordinary circumstances, and this is an extraordinary circumstance.
Somebody as good as him, it's an unlock, right? Because now he's got the memory, it comes back like riding a bike. I feel like it's off to the races from here. So I'm really excited. And I love the juxtaposition of his humility, the way he talks about everything, and the fist pump energy that he gives. Like, nobody pumps like him.
It's not just the fist pump, it's the what the fuck?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Like all of that.
That's why he was so electric when he first came out.
He still has that.
Oh, he still has that. 100% he still has that. He has that fire when he's on the golf course. You don't want to lose that fire when you're on the golf course, but I think the tone he took afterward, which is I want to inspire people to be 1% better. Terrific manners all around. Last little piece of sort of housekeeping before we get into our interviews. Lucas Glover was elected leader of the pack. I don't know how much power the pack has now that it seems to be like a rule by decree situation with the PGA Tour where they just kind of, but I'm sure they're taking input from all the players. Former US Open golf champion Lucas Glover elected as chairman of the Player Advisory Council ahead of Adam Scott. Wow. So they voted for Lucas Glover over Adam Scott.
I think he's been pretty vocal. I don't know the details, so I don't want to misspeak, but I think he's been pretty outspoken about like wanting to do it or like what the pack should be doing.
Yeah, and he's also, I think he's he's not Adam Scott in the sense of he's not, he's played fantastic golf, won back-to-back a couple of years ago, but he's, Adam Scott's in like the blue chip. He's kind of a voice for more of like the rest of the PGA Tour, and he has been vocal in the past about, we can't be taking all these tournaments away and these members away. I thought it was better when we had fuller fields, which I don't disagree with. I've said on this show many times, I think the best golf tournament is 120 players with a 36-hole cut, where the 36-hole cut is actually scary and not just like a fuck you to the bottom 10 like it is this week. There's a cut this week, but it's like, 15 or 20 guys are going to miss the cut. So yeah, just more news on the PGA Tour front. Okay, we're going to toss to our first interview, which is with Paige Spiranac. So Paige announced Paige Co., which is a joint venture between Paige and Pro Shop, which is our parent company. She's going to be producing a lot of content. Pro Shop's going to help her along that road. And she's talked about how she built all of this really with just herself and a cell phone. And now she's excited about taking it to the next step. I also asked her about, some of the rough experiences she's had over the last couple months on the internet. So enjoy our interview. All right, we are joined by Paige Spiranac. We have a very exciting announcement. You are joining the Pro Shop family. So tell me about Paige Co.
Yes, so it's a joint venture and I can't wait to get started. We're going to work on a series together and a bunch of other things, and it's just a great opportunity and just feel like it's the right time and the point of my career, and just to have such a powerhouse team behind me to make all of my ideas come to life and happen, and it's the best.
So you've already accomplished so much in the game. I think you're like the most followed person in golf social media or whatever the stats might be. But I feel like I was reading a little bit about this. You still have a lot more that you want to do. What are some of those things that you feel like this might allow you to explore? I
think for me, it's just elevating my content. So I've been doing this for a really long time now. Not to age myself, but I mean it's over 10 years, and I've had such a small team to make it happen, really just kind of myself. Yeah. I shoot a lot of my content selfie style, and my mom will jump in and help film. I just use my phone, and that's really how I've done it from the very beginning. And I just want to elevate my content, bring these ideas to life, and really just see what we can do creatively together with having like a producer and a real editor and like, big time equipment. And it makes such a big difference to really elevate it. And I just feel like that's kind of like what I want to do in the next, 5, 10, 15 years, and really just produce the content. And I do it for myself, but I feel that I can help in other ways as well with Pro Shop and come up with some other ideas, even if I'm not, forward facing in a lot of it. They really are open to hearing my ideas and, learning more and allowing me also just to be me, which is really nice.
I mean, I can say from my experience, it's been a game changer. Yeah. Like we're sitting in this beautiful studio, and you're right. It has an elevated feel when you have people who actually know what they're doing, and it's not just a human with a cell phone. Which is not to knock anything someone making. There's some of the biggest creators are out there are just people with a cell phone, but it does sort of feel like the next evolution. So is part of this going to be like doing some more YouTube content?
So we're creating a show, and we're not really sure what that looks like yet. We have some really big ideas, and at first my live on YouTube, it really could live anywhere, which is really exciting.
Well, you got
about
Chad
it.
involved, and Chad is like Mr. Streamer, so I could totally see one of these shows being like a comedians in car, or what is it? Comedians in cars getting coffee. Yeah, like the Seinfeld show, or some of these shows where it's like it's one host and you're doing stuff obviously in the golf world, but it doesn't have to just be like just YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, digital content is my wheelhouse and what I love most, but I'm excited to see new opportunities because I have never even thought about that or have that even be something that I could potentially do. So to, again, like team up with them and have that be a potential option is something that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, because also like the YouTube world can be, it can be nasty sometimes. I mean, you experienced some crazy experience a couple months ago after the Internet Invitational, and I thought the reaction to that was crazy, but it can be a little bit scary sometimes.
People get really excited and intense about YouTube golf and just golf in general, which I think we can all relate to. I think there's just something about golf that you just get so passionate and obsessive with, and you can have these parasocial relationships with creators because the content is so relatable and it feels like you are a part of the crew, and you just get really protective over these personalities, and sometimes that can work in your favor and sometimes it can work against you.
I hated it, to be honest with you. Like I was part of Foreplay on Barstool for a little while, and I loved the work that I was doing there in terms of like being able to cover the game in a new way. But every time that I had to play golf on camera, I was just so nervous about like what the perception was going to be. So I totally hear where you're coming from.
Yeah, and I think too, where it's like you kind of fall into these, people just assume that you are one way, or they think that you are this way, and that's just how they always view you. And that's something that I really learned, especially after kind of what happened to me, was I'm done talking about it and I'm done trying to defend myself, because I've spent so long trying to you can't win. And it's like the people who do like you, consume your content and see you in one way, they will always see you like that. And then the people that do dislike you, they're never going to want to see you in any other light. And so it's not good for me or for anyone else if I'm just trying to sit there and always say, hey, I actually meant this, or this is what actually happened, or this is that. No one cares.
No one cares. Well, I'm excited for this because I think you have a lot to offer. You don't get to where you are without some serious brain power and ideas. And I think that this is going to allow you to, like you said, elevate your content in new and really exciting ways. So I can't wait to see it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We had a little get together. It wasn't a get together. It was a nightclub.
We were clubbing last night.
We were clubbing last night. We had a party to celebrate this. Started at 9 p.m., which was egregious. 9 p.m. on a school night on a rainy Tuesday. I took a nap. Woke up and was like, this party's still not starting.
You texted me at like 8:15. You're like, I just woke up from that. It still hasn't
started yet. It was very fun once I got there, but I don't have a 9 p.m. start in me anymore on a Tuesday when you have
an 8 a.m. tee time.
We had an 8 a.m. tee time, and it was actually a very classic like golfer experience. Everyone who was in the group kept on being like, the real drama's tomorrow.
When's your last drink?
Yeah, like
you cutting it off.
You gonna have another one of those? You think you're gonna be able to hit driver cut off one with that thing?
Well, now we should announce the results of today. Should we say how our group absolutely won? And
we won.
That you and I won our match.
Well, my mind was on the tee time. Yeah. My mind was on the tee time last night. My mind was also on knockaround because we played with Kyle from the knockaround team. Just the best sunglasses in the game. These are the Love and Hates. This is the last West Coast swing, so I thought it would be a nice homage to bring a distinctly West Coast looking shade out here. These are the Love and Hates. Knockaround's just the best sunglasses in the game for the right price. I mean, stop spending stupid money on sunglasses. You're just going to lose them. And you don't want to feel guilty. You don't want to feel like you have a piece of jewelry that you're trying to keep track of. I am not super kind to my sunglasses. I knock them around like knockarounds, and they're perfect. They have never had an issue. None of them have ever broken before. They're the same quality, if not better, than sunglasses that cost 5-10 times the price. We have a promo code for you guys. So if you go to knockaround.com/golf, golf. You can see all of the golf sunglasses, and then you can use the promo code DanOnGolf20. That gets you 20% off your first order, which brings these incredible sunglasses to around $30. What I would do if I were you is first thing I would do is go and buy a shirt, and then I would go to knockaround.com/golf. I'd use the promo code DanOnGolf20, and I'd buy 3 sunglasses, maybe 4, for the same price as one of the other guys. All right, our last interview. Actually, before we do the last interview, I'm going to tease. We have a special guest coming on the watch along on Sunday.
Oh yeah,
we have a special guest coming on the watch along on Sunday. I'm trying to think of the best way to tease this. He was at one point a top 10 player in his sport.
Oh, that you're not even going to reveal which sport.
I'm not going to reveal what sport. But we have someone who is joining us on Sunday for the watch along. Remember, we'll be streaming as we always do on Sunday, the back 9 of the PGA Tour. We do not stream the actual tour footage. I want to make that clear. A lot of people coming in there saying, why don't you show the golf? Well, there's these things called media rights.
We would love to. Don't get us wrong.
I would love to be like a proper Manning cast and be able to show the golf that we're talking about, but it's a watch along. So you watch the golf, you sync it up with us. We got the leaderboard up there. I'm also kind of calling it myself. So I'll say like, Colin Morikawa's made impact or made contact, and then you can sync it up.
Yeah.
And you can watch and live react with us. And as I've said on this show a bunch, I wish that I could be in the comments during the Monday show and the Wednesday show. It's just, I don't have I have this computer in front of me, but when I'm doing the watch along, I have the massive computer in front of me, and it's probably the most fun thing that we do. We've had about 1,000 people joining us the last couple of weeks. I'm interacting in the chat the whole time. We have like inside jokes in the chat. Anyone who has been on the watch along, I think, can speak to just how fun it is.
Yeah, it feels like a kid again every Sunday when I'm in there with you watching golf, and we're like, I think last week I was like hitting octaves on my squeals.
You were?
That I've never made before.
You let it rip a little bit last week.
I mean, Scott, that shot that Scotty hit, the draw fade, or the pull fade, whatever you want to call it.
The draw fade.
That brings out the kid in you.
100%. And so we only did it feels like we've been doing the show for a long time. Our first episode was last year after the WM Phoenix Open. Our first watch along wasn't until Bay Hill. So this will be our first watch along at Riviera. I've played the golf course a number of times. I live down the road. I'm on site this week, so I feel like I will have some actual insight to give on the golf course. And then again, we have a special guest who was a top 10 player in the world, on the planet, and that's not an opinion, that's a fact in his sport. So I'm very excited. And now that I've said it, he has to come.
I would say he maybe is in the top 10 of like guys who win golf tournaments around these parts.
Now you're giving it away.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I don't think I am.
I think if people
put it in the comments if
I think people will now know who it is. But this guy was a top 10 player in the world in his sport. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. Okay, our last interview, I've been meaning to do this one, is with Dan Brown. He's a rookie on the PGA Tour. He's from Yorkshire, like Matt Fitzpatrick, like Billy Foster, who we've both had on the show this week. By the way, the Dan on Golf Bump is so alive. It's absolutely alive. So I would not be surprised if Dan Brown goes and wins the Cognizant next week. But he's a unique character on the PGA Tour. Big guy, smokes cigarettes, which the internet absolutely loves. Not a gym guy. We had another Englishman on the show, Justin Rose, who is like the biggest gym guy, and not just a gym guy, but like a hyperbaric chamber and a cold plunge and a eucalyptus steam guy. And he has this crazy routine where he starts, if he's an 8 a.m. tee time, he wakes up at 5. He doesn't stop until, putting the pins in his yardage book at 8 p.m. Dan Brown's on the other end of the spectrum. So we're going to leave you guys with a Dan Brown interview. Again, I want to just remind you guys, we will be back for the watch along on Sunday with a special guest. But for now, enjoy our interview with Dan Brown. All right, we are joined by PGA Tour rookie Dan Brown. I've been looking forward to this one. You've got quite the personality. I'm looking forward to chatting, getting to know each other. First question, how's it going? We talked a little bit in Phoenix, and you said you were kind of deciding where you wanted to live. You were kind of looking at Texas. You were looking at Florida. We haven't made any progress on that front.
No progress, but I did enjoy Phoenix.
Scottsdale is an area where a lot of people live. There's a golf community there.
Yeah, for the golf, definitely. Yeah.
What did you get after it? Did you go out like Old Town?
I did, yeah.
What does that look like?
Carnage.
Okay. So
absolute chaos down there.
Yeah, it's like they call it Scott's Vegas. It's got a little bit of a Vegas feel.
Yeah, it's good. I'd go again.
All right, so you grew up in North Allerton, which is, I looked up, North Yorkshire, halfway between Leeds and Newcastle. Is that kind of a fair, like, where do you tell people that do you say Leeds? Do you say Newcastle? Do you say
I usually say I'm like I'm like at 50 minutes an hour south of Newcastle. That's what I usually say, because it is pretty much butt fucking nowhere, isn't it? There's not a lot. There's not a lot going on.
Is it Newcastle territory or is it Leeds territory?
Neither, to be honest. But that's what I tell people. There is actually. So basically, Middlesbrough is actually only about 30 minutes away. But I never ever tell anyone I'm from anywhere near Middlesbrough because it's a hellhole.
Well, Michael Carrick was the manager there, and he's doing a good job at Manchester United.
He was.
So.
Yeah.
So some people, I was looking at your Wikipedia, which is journalism, how I look up all my subjects, and some people have a long early life in Wikipedia. Yours says Dan Brown was born in North Allerton, England, and then it just skips to you being 22 and finally getting to the Challenge Tour. So what were those years like between, you turned pro in 2017, I think we're roughly the same age, both born in 1994. You had a long road to get to where you are now.
Yeah, it was. There was a few dark years in there. I had a pretty good amateur career, really. Like won a couple of decent competitions, played for England, played for my county for a lot of years, and then just turned pro and just struggled like crazy. I think I was maybe a little bit naive in thinking that I was good enough because I had a decent amateur career. I maybe thought, oh, this is like it's not going to be a breeze, but I'm going to do all right. And then I was on the Challenge Tour and got the shock of my life, and basically I was just nowhere near good enough. And then had a year on Challenge Tour, had to drop down to Euro Pro, which was like a mini tour in the UK. Did that for a couple of years, and then COVID hit, and I was actually going to quit golf. Well, I basically did quit golf for about 6 months. And then COVID, I would have been about 25, I think. Had a long, hard look at myself in the mirror and thought, you need to sort your shit out because this is not what you wanted to do as a kid.
What would you have been doing?
I've no idea. I was applying for jobs in supermarkets and all sorts during COVID. Like, it was not great. Not great. When you want to be a professional golfer and you're sort of potentially going to work in a supermarket, it's a bit of a different one.
What because I know just from talking to guys who play the American mini tours, like what a rough existence it is. Like you don't have any money. Like what did those years look like? Are you raising money from sponsors? Are you eating like ramen? Like how did you survive those years?
Just grass, just eating grass and pond water. Yeah, it was. I basically didn't earn any sort of decent amount of money until the age of probably 26. So yeah, it was pretty rough. I had like a little bit of sponsorship each year, but not enough. I mean, I was maybe getting like £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 to like go for a year of a professional golfer, which obviously we know is not quite enough to get you by. Certainly not on the mini tours anyway, where you can't earn, you've obviously not got the opportunity to earn that money back. Like it's. Yeah, it was a rough one, but thankfully it progressed and picked up.
Do you kind of miss? I guess you're a little like older than most. I feel like a lot at least of the top British kids or European kids are now going to college. Was that ever like in your mind?
It was a little bit, but I never really saw myself doing that. I think maybe because I hadn't even been to America before. So that was maybe, I don't know, maybe if a couple of our family holidays were in America, then I maybe would have thought about it a little longer. But I'd never been to America, so I kind of, when the opportunity came around, I can't remember which colleges now, but there was a couple where they kind of offered scholarships, and but I kind of just didn't, I kind of just dismissed it straight away, really.
So you grew up in Yorkshire, so you must have been playing with Fitzy on a lot of those teams. Was it interesting watching, because he had such a rapid rise, right? Like he was winning DP World Tour events, playing in Ryder Cups. Did that kind of motivate you? Like, I've played with this guy, I can do it? Or was it like, man, he's miles ahead?
Yeah, so me and Matt, I think he's about a month older than me, so we were like same age group. I think we've probably known each other since we were maybe like 12, 13 years old, probably as young as that. Played like the county stuff, played for England together. And then, obviously he maybe when he was like 18, 19, he just seemed to just keep getting better and better and like quickly as well. And then maybe by the age of 21, did he win his first title on the European Tour?
Yeah, he won the USAM at 18, and then I think he won first DP World Tour event at 20, and then I think he was on the Ryder Cup at 21. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, and then that's when you like, it makes you kind of realize how. I suppose it makes you realize how quickly it can happen. You can like make things happen quickly if you put the work in. But obviously he's been a great player from such a young age, and he's always been a hard worker as well. So it never really surprised me that he's done what he's done in the game, and obviously going on to win a major as well, which is amazing. Obviously to see one of your sort of friends from back in the day. I suppose we kind of didn't really keep much contact, but it's still like great to see when we grew up and sort of took the same path together from probably the age of like 12, 13 up until he kind of reached the heights he did at such a young age.
You know, my first exposure to you was at the Open when you made a run, and the internet was just obsessed with you like sneaking a cigarette. And then this happened again at Phoenix, where you handed a cigarette out. When did the smokes come into the picture? I'm more of a zone nicotine guy myself. I got a whole pack of them right behind me. And do you like also think it's kind of strange that the internet is just like obsessed with golfers who smoke cigarettes?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that my parents don't watch this because I'm about to bear all. But yeah, I probably started smoking when I was like 20, I think. It all stemmed from kind of like growing up, going on nights out, and you sneak a couple of sort of heaters in on a night out when you're having a drink, and then it just stemmed from there. But to be honest, it's mainly when I'm golfing. I actually don't smoke that much away from golf. I don't know. It's maybe just gives me something to do when I'm bored walking in between shots, I suppose. But yeah, it did go pretty viral at the Open, and then there was a few videos knocking about last week in Phoenix. Yeah.
But surely now that you're on the PGA Tour, like you're working with like, all these trainers and stuff, are they like, hey man, we should probably stop this? Or do you just tell them like, hey, we're not talking about this?
I don't actually, believe it or not, I don't actually work with a trainer.
I can't believe it.
So I've never, I'm not a big gym goer.
So we had Justin Rose on the show last week, and he is a big gym goer.
He's huge on it now, yeah.
Yeah, so we had him on, and I asked him to give me the sort of play-by-play of an 8 a.m. tee time. And he was telling me I wake up at 5, tea, coffee, get a massage, work out in the morning, then he does activations, then he hits balls, then he plays, then afterwards he goes back into his RV, and he's got like 2 hours of freaking red light and fresh oxygen. And let's say Dan Brown has an 8 a.m. tee time. Give me the full day.
Yeah, I did see that. That's certainly not my routine. 8 o'clock tea time, right? Probably waking up at 5:45. Coffee, rip a cig, breakfast. I do a bit of stretching. So I go to the golf course, do a bit of stretching, and then warm up. I usually warm up like an hour and 15 before. But it's very like, I don't know. I mean, touch wood, I've never really been one to get injured or anything like that. Only like the odd kind of like, just like the wake up feeling one morning, feeling a bit stiff. That's kind of the most I've ever had. So I've kind of stayed away from the gym. And I think I'm quite lucky that I'm quite a big guy. So I'm naturally like relatively strong, I would say. So I've kind of just been able to get away with it. And I think I maybe should start probably going to the gym. I've thought about it for the last couple of years, but I've just never got around to doing it.
Well, you got no excuse now. They got a trailer right next to it. You got all these guys. You're on the biggest tour in the world. Maybe now is the right time.
Yeah, I still bypassed that truck. I don't know what it looks like inside. I've never been in.
I love it.
But I might find out at some point.
So you've made 4 starts on tour. You've made 2 cuts so far. How would you describe your start to the season? And then also kind of explain to me the differences in terms of golf courses, in terms of just overall feel between the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm happy with my start, but I wouldn't say I'm unhappy with it either. I mean, generally, I do have slow starts to seasons. Like years gone by, I don't come out the blocks quick. It's usually once I get around to kind of like the latter part of the year is when I generally play my best golf. I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, it's been good. I love America. So I've loved like adapting to life out here. The previous times I've been here was like I think I've been to Kentucky, New York and Boston, which are obviously very different places to where we've been so far. But every time I've been to America, I've loved it. So I feel like I've adapted pretty quick, certainly to the lifestyle side of things. And then golf side, the events we played so far have been, obviously Hawaii was the first one, which was, I wouldn't say it was an easy golf course, but it was windy, so it made it tricky. But I think if you played there with not much wind, I think that place would get torn to bits. You'd be looking like 20 plus under, I think. And then obviously the Amex is like our kind of European, our kind of like American version of the Dunhill. So you play like a pro-am kind of format. And then the last probably 2 weeks, I would say, are probably a bit more normal PGA Tour weeks. Obviously, there's not much normal about Phoenix, to be fair. It's absolute chaos of a golf tournament. But yeah, I'd say Torrey was the first one where I was like, this is the PGA Tour, if you know what I mean. And it was great. Like, the fans there was a lot of fans there, a lot more than I thought, maybe. And the golf course is amazing. And it's such a strong golf course as well at Torrey. So yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's been 4 very different weeks to start off.
So next you have Cognizant, I would guess?
Yeah, and then I'm going to go Puerto Rico, yeah.
You're not in the Players?
Not as of yet, but I've been made aware that I can play my way in, so fingers crossed.
Well, that's the best golf. That's my favorite golf tournament to attend. The golf course is unbelievable. I love that area. You're going to like Jacksonville as well. Tell me about BFB Golf. BFB
Golf. So me and my friends, when would it have been? Probably about 4 years ago, maybe. I think we were just sat in the golf club. Like, we're all from the same golf club. All live in the same area, back home in Northallerton. And I think we were just like having lunch one day at the golf club, and we were just like, can we just come up with some, because I think we'd maybe like film some videos on the golf course when we played in the morning. And they were like quite funny. So we were like, we should just have like an Instagram or something, or a TikTok or whatever, where we just post some stupid videos. And we came up with a name, the Beers for Bogeys, which we're sort of trying to get away from to be a little bit more PC with the name. But yeah, it's gone. I'd say for like 3 years it was like pretty quiet, and then this last year it's kind of blown up, and we're actually like starting a YouTube and just started up a YouTube channel. And yeah, it's going to be all the lads have quit their jobs just to focus on YouTube now and the social media side of it.
Well, that's what happens when you make it to the big tour. You know, things start to get more attention. Yeah. Like, I saw the videos of you like 1 day in Scottsdale, 5 days in Scottsdale. Yeah. So it's cool that you're not just like focusing on your own golf, and you're kind of broadening your appeal. Yeah, do you know what? It's been great. Like, I've been lucky enough to, like, my brother's 10 years younger than me, and he's trying to be a golfer, and I've been lucky enough to like help him out and help my parents out. And then now with this like YouTube thing that's going on with the guys, I feel like I've had a good part to play in helping those boys out, being able to like quit their jobs and play golf in front of a camera for a living. And we actually went on our first trip to Boston last year in October. And I did think to myself, like, we went for a week, and it was like one of the greatest weeks I've ever had. And I was thinking, this would be the coolest job ever. Like, you can do both. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I think obviously they're kind of like the brains behind it. I still kind of like come up with a lot of ideas, but they're obviously more focused on it than I am. But I'll obviously help them out when I can and get onto videos when I can. And yeah, that week was so good. And I was just like, it made me quite happy that once the guys did quit their jobs, it was like made me quite happy that I'm like, they're going to get to do that week over and over and over again. So it's quite a cool thing to be able to sort of play a little part in helping my friends out and
do what they love, and which is golf. They all love golf. So,
how much do you think you need to accomplish in your career to the point where when I Google Dan Brown, it's not the author?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's been a thing since we were kids, right?
Yeah. I've never read any of his books, but yeah, it'd be nice to just be at the top when you type in Dan Brown at some point. I don't know. I'll probably have to win
Adam
it.
Scott, forever it was showing me the comedian, and it's like I want to see the golfer.
Yeah, I'd probably have to win a major or two for that to happen, I would say.
He's a pretty big author, probably one of the best-selling ones ever.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining the show. It was fun to catch up, and I'll see you out there pretty soon, I hope.
Yes, will do. Thanks for having me on.